Aloha, I'm Lahina Lee, and welcome to your Maui Real Estate Advisor Market Report for June 2025. This week's podcast is focused on the Maui real estate market. Isn't it always? Yeah, but we're going to focus on the stats this week. We'll also share a few thoughts on Bill 9, the controversial proposal to eliminate the long-standing legally codified right of certain apartment zone properties to operate as vacation rentals. All right, real estate. And let's talk numbers. We are seeing recession-like activity in the condo market. Over the past 12 months, monthly condo sales have averaged just 58 per month. That's more than 10% below the 65 per month during the 2008 financial crisis. Single-family homes tell a similar story. In 2008, Maui saw 907 homes sold, or about 75 per month. That number dropped to 693 in 2009, just 58 per month. Today, we're averaging only 56 sales per month, a figure that we haven't seen since the Great Recession. So what is going on? And more importantly, what does it mean for homeowners and investors? One piece of the puzzle is Bill 9. Supporters of the bill aren't exactly investor friendly. In fact, many point to investors as one of the primary drivers of Maui's affordable housing crisis. Do they have a point? Well, like every other item that is bought and sold, real estate responds to supply and demand. So what's happening with Maui's supply and demand? Let's do the numbers. Let's start with a look at condos. Condo market is a market in gridlock. For the month ending in May, we had just 64 sales. That matched April's total, and that's the highest monthly number we've seen in the past 12 months. And it happened 4 different times. The lowest number of sales occurred twice. That was just 50 condos sold. And pending sales, those are condos under contract. We call them pendings. Those dropped to 84. That's right at the average for the last 12 months. Even at its strongest, condo demand has been sluggish. For context, back in February of 2022, we saw 179 condos under contract. That's nearly triple what we're seeing today. And while demand has weakened, supply has surged. Inventory began rising at the late part of 2023. It peaked just a month ago, beginning of May in 2025, with 900 condos on the market. As of this month, listings dipped only slightly to 875. Put simply, the condo market is stagnant. Sales are flat, listings are piling up, and neither side is blinking. We're at kind of a standoff. The threat of losing the legal right to operate short-term rentals in apartment-zoned units has clearly spooked some sellers, and it's sidelined most of the buyers. But that's not the only issue we're dealing with. We're also dealing with tourism levels that are near recession lows, interest rates that feel high, even though they're really at historic averages, and then there's the whole broader economic and political uncertainty. Now, for those that are selling, well, selling prices are sending us a bit of a mixed signal. The median selling price last month was $762,500. That's up from $727 just the month before, and well below the 12-month high of $999,999. Now, the average selling prices, which can be more volatile, may actually be showing us a trend. In May, the average selling price was $1,089,000. That was the third straight monthly decline, and it's way down from the 12-month average, which was just over $2 million. Now, that was driven by a lot of closings from large developments, and those had been in contract pendings for a very long time. But still, it's a data point. And here's something else. I always look at this, but I really hadn't started tracking it. So starting this month, we're really going to be tracking what you might think of as seller expectations, right? So what are the asking prices? So the median asking price for a condo on Maui right now is about $850,000, while the average asking price is just under $1.3 million. So our sellers still have their heads back in 2022 when you could just put something on the market, get your price. So today it seems like they're more concerned about leaving money on the table than they are about making the condo sell. While buyers are considering and pricing in the risk factor, and they're also thinking about those interest rates. So we're at a standstill. Single-family homes are stable, but not exactly surging. Home sales in May pulled back from a 12-month high of 69 sales in April down to 55 last month. Over the past 6 months, we've averaged 57 home sales per month, steady but still below even recession levels. Inventory has been climbing, and now we have about 8 months of supply. That number tilts the balance a little bit more towards buyers in most areas, but not everywhere. Maui's Central District, Wailuku, and Kahului remains the exception. With 88 homes on the market and 22 sold last month, Central Maui still leans towards a seller's market. Pending sales held steady at 120 homes under contract. Home selling prices overall are pretty stable, especially with the median. So a little softness maybe in the upper market, and so that's affecting the average. But the median selling price in May was $1.3 million, very, very steady. The average selling price dropped all the way down to $1.548 million, which is down from $1.8 million in April. That's one of the sharpest drops over the past year. And how do those selling prices differ from asking prices? Well, seller expectations remain high. Median asking price right now is a little over $1.8 million, and the average asking price is over $3.3 million. Buyers, however, are increasingly cautious, especially outside the high demand areas. And since I mentioned the upper price markets, the luxury market had a little bit of a pause maybe last month, but not a crash. It slowed in May with just 2 sales over $4 million. However, June is off to a stronger start, so we may see that number rebound in next month's report. Meanwhile, West Maui struggles. There were only 3 sales of single-family homes in the entire month of May in West Maui. So at the end of the day, the story of this market isn't just about interest rates or county politics. It's about supply and demand. The condo market, we've got too much inventory, uncertain legality, and not enough willing buyers. That's a formula for stagnation, and we're seeing it play out in real time. In the single-family home market, we're seeing a more stable pace, but also a growing disconnect between what sellers are asking and what buyers are willing and able to pay, especially outside the high-demand pockets like Central Maui. So for condos or single-family homes, if you're thinking about selling, the first step is to get clear on your motivation. Do you really want to sell, or would it just be nice to sell if you could get the right price? That difference matters because in today's market, if you start a bit high, hoping not to leave money on the table, you may wind up chasing the market down. Pricing it right from the start gives you your best shot at getting the best price for your condo. So for condos or homes, if you're thinking about selling, the first step is to get clear on your motivation. Do you really want to sell, Or would it just be nice to sell if you could get the right price? The difference matters because in today's market, if you start a bid high hoping not to leave money on the table, you may end up chasing the market down or not selling that property at all. Pricing it right gives you the best shot at making a sale. Now, if you're thinking about buying, there are some excellent opportunities on Maui right now. We have some motivated sellers, rising inventory, and softening prices are creating windows that simply didn't exist a year or two ago. But that won't last forever, especially if economic conditions shift again. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, if you have questions or comments, drop them in the section below. Or if you want to shoot an email, I'm lee@alohapots.com. I read them all. I answer every one. If you liked this episode, maybe give us a thumbs up and maybe share it with someone you know who's interested in information about Maui. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. From the greatest island on earth, this is Lahina Lee saying, Aloha. Tony Brown produced this podcast. The information provided in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as a recommendation to invest in real estate or any other financial asset. We are not financial planners, certified public accountants, or attorneys. You should consult with a qualified professional before making any financial, legal, or investment decisions. All investments carry risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results.